Welcome to Tampa Home Talk with your host, native Tampa real estate girl, Katrina Madewell, a full-time, passionate, out-of-the-box thinker, love for home ownership kind of realtor with over 21 years of combined mortgage and real estate experience. Tune in every week at this time for expert advice on everything you need to know about home ownership, finance, maintaining great credit, building wealth, and making your everyday life better, and how you can be financially successful today and tomorrow. Remember, love where you live or let Katrina fix it. Now, here's your host of Tampa Home Talk, Katrina Madewell.
Hey, welcome to our show today. If you're rejoining us for a second, third, or a lot of times, welcome back. And if it's the first time you've ever caught our show, stick around because we have some fantastic information. Even if you're outside of the Tampa Bay area, picking us up on one of the Starcom network stations, we always have a wealth of information and some amazing guests. Today is no different. And I would love to announce our guests, two beautiful, lovely ladies in studio today. We have dubbed this show the Parade of Builders. We're going to talk all about the Parade of Homes and some other things that Tampa Bay Builder Association does. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Miss Melissa Chamont. Chamont. Yes. Thanks for correcting me. Oh, okay. You are the special events coordinator. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay. And then Laura Kennedy, she is the parade coordinator. Do I have that right?
Close enough. I was the chairperson for the Parade of Homes for 2015.
You should have a more official title for that job. I got to tell you, it sounds like a lot of work for that title.
It was a lot of work, but I got to give credit where credit is due. It's a great partnership with Tampa Bay Builders Association, and Melissa did way more work on this than I did. So, I get to have the title to it, but Melissa and I worked really well together on this. It was certainly a team effort.
Well, welcome to the show, ladies. I'm delighted to have you today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So every year, and I'm going to tease you guys a little bit for the person listening. So we're going to talk all about the Parade of Homes, which is a big buzz here and in some other areas. But we're not going to tell you about it right away. We're going to make you listen for a little bit because there's some other fantastic information we want you to know about. But just talking about like the Tampa Bay Builders Association, how long have you guys been around?
We actually were established in 1946 as the Greater Tampa Association of Builders. So it's actually been 69 years. I checked it out, and so it's been around for quite a while.
Which is, I didn't even realize that entity was around for so long, which is amazing.
It is.
And the mission of Tampa Bay Builders Association is it's to support your members, right? Mm-hmm. But you could talk more about what your official mission is, or
right. Well, the Home Builders Association their effort is to try to support the building industry and be the unified voice of the builders in the area. The reach of the association is for Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough.
So greater metropolitan Tampa area.
Exactly, yes.
And it's we were talking a little bit before the show, and the interesting part and the neat part about this, which I just kind of wanted for the person listening, I want you to be able to correlate this and understand exactly what you guys do and what your role is. But for your members, and your members would be probably either builders or home builders or affiliate or associate members or something like that. Mm-hmm. But you support them in a way that is good for them, kind of like the realtor organization we talked about. Like our board of realtors is very much responsible for educating their members. So if there's changes, like we have some major changes coming up soon with regards to the settlement statement and just a lot of changes under the Frank Dodd Act that are continuing on, probably even through next year. But they're really good at educating the members on that kind of stuff. They're good at supporting the members. So it's classes, it's affiliates, it's putting on events. It's, we do things through Realtor Care Foundation, mm-hmm. Which is like down payment assistance and public awareness and education and that type of stuff. And so you guys basically do that on a builder spectrum.
That's exactly correct. We provide special events for networking, for fundraising, educational opportunities as well. And additionally, we actually partner with the Greater Tampa Association of Realtors on an event as well, the Realtor Builder Expo.
Which is a big one. A lot of people turn out for that.
That's true, yes. And we actually just had that at the end of June. So
you partner with other entities that are good associate or affiliate members, but you also do things for the public as well, right? Like the Parade of Homes, mm-hmm. which we'll get into. Is there anything else that you guys do that's more for the public? Is it really more for like to support the builder members?
Well, the mission is focused on the building industry. However, in addition to the Parade of Homes, we have our Remodelers Council, which attends the home shows in the area, to educate the public about remodeling standards, contracting building standards, license practices.
Which that's fantastic. We need to spend some time actually talking about that. And we talked about it on another show, but it's been a while. And I love to bring that to awareness because I'm constantly, hearing about people that hired unlicensed contractors or just, some of the different issues that come with that. And it's really good to talk about that. But so who are some of your members that are part of TBBA, which is Tampa Bay Builders Association? So you have not only builders, but you have remodelers.
We have a variety of types of contractors. There are large builders, small builders, custom builders, and remodelers.
Commercial builders too, or is that a different division?
That's a different division, but there are some builders who build both residential and commercial.
Right, gotcha. So let's talk for just a minute, just so that we don't hop onto something else and then forget about one of the big parts when we talk about hiring a licensed person, right? So let's break this down and just imagine for a minute, we want to remodel our bathroom or our kitchen or redo our floors, whatever it is. And you're getting quotes from different people. And, people may search a number of places, right? Angie's List, Craigslist. They may ask other people for recommendations. And so the homeowner's responsibility, they have some due diligence really before they hire anyone to ever work on their home.
That's very true. One of the biggest questions we get at the home shows are residents who pass through and tell us about the horror stories, as you mentioned, of the projects they undertook. Either they were halfway done or the person wasn't licensed. And it's an unfortunate situation because it puts the family in a predicament. But there are places, websites, usually through the county or the city, that they can go to check out if the person is licensed. Typically, you can ask the contractor before they begin working for their license number. And that's something you can go verify to make sure they're...
Check them out, for complaints. Look at them for compliments. Google them. See what comes up, when you put their name in. Probably the contractor name and the company name. It's not a bad idea. It's from a liability standpoint, just thinking about if you hire somebody that's not licensed, and let's say they're running saws or different things because they're putting in floors or cutting tile or whatever they're doing, right, which could be for any of the three things I mentioned. If they accidentally cut a finger off, they can sue you. It sounds grim, it sounds horrible, but it happens.
That's true.
And it's, so in insurance, just thinking about those kind of things. And then not to mention if you do some type of renovation and it causes like an electrical fire or something, your homeowner's insurance may not cover that. So there's so many reasons why you would want to hire an outstanding member. Their price may be a little bit more, but they have a lot more cost. So they're going to have the liability insurance. They're going to have workman's comp. They're going to have all the things that are going to cost you a lot less in the end if someone were to have an accident on your property.
And a big part of that, too, is they're up to date. If they maintain their license, they're up to date on the current codes in your area. So you won't be hit with a fine or a permit later when the project is complete.
How often do you see building codes change? Because I know, like after the storms, we had back-to-back changes.
Frequently. They change quite frequently. We, not too long ago, ordered some building codes for reference in our office, and now we have to order a new set. So,
what type of things, just out of curiosity?
It could be anything from garage doors, stucco, hurricane preparedness for the roofs. There's a variety.
And there's
of
a lot of codes that change too for the builders themselves, as far as how they can market and the signage and things along those lines as well.
Because we're all regulated by different entities and that kind of stuff. So the Parade of Homes, we'll hop into that because I know everybody wants to talk about that. Usually in the springtime.
Yes, and for the last few years, it's been usually March or April. And around the time, we usually work around the time of between spring breaks or the
So you're
holidays.
careful on how you coordinate it and plan it and schedule it. And that's pretty much your forte, right? You work collaboratively with Melissa and probably some other people, I'm sure.
Absolutely. It's we have a big committee, and even within that committee, there's a number of subcommittees.
I would imagine.
Because there's so many parts to the parade.
It's a big undertaking.
It is. It's a big
So
event.
let's break it down and talk about the Parade of Homes and what it is for the person listening. Maybe they've never been to a Parade of Homes, or they've heard it, or they've never actually experienced or seen it. Can you tell the person listening what to expect? Like, what is a Parade of Homes? If I were to ask you that, how would you explain it to me?
Well, the funny thing is, I have a son, and he said, how can you have a parade where the homes aren't moving?
Oh, fabulous. I love how kids look at stuff.
They do. They go, he said that. He's like, how can you call it parade? The homes sit still. He said you should call it a parade of people because they're the ones that are moving from house to house.
He really has a legitimate point.
He does, don't they always?
How old is he?
Well, now he's 19, but, he's been around this industry for a long time, so this question popped up a lot. long time ago.
Because the Parade of Homes has been around for how many years now?
Almost as long as the Tampa Bay Builders Association. In fact, earlier, what was the year on that program we were looking at?
We looked at one of the guidebooks. Actually, I have it right here. But we looked at one of the guidebooks from 1957.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. We're going to have to take some pictures of this and put it up on TampaHometalk.com. Wow, this thing is old.
It's really fun to look at. The Parade of Homes guidebook between now and then, the different things that they feature are, they have drywall. They have
Drywall is a big feature.
Paved roads.
You know what they have in here that you don't have in your current guidebook? Just making an observation from the outside in. Floor plans.
Yes.
That's fabulous.
Well, actually, some of our
Did I miss
upgraded
them?
ads. Well, there's some with and some without. So we do have some entries in our guidebook that are larger that include the floor plans. And
This
some do not.
is amazing. I'm like in awe looking at this.
It's a lot of
Was it
fun.
you noticed in there earlier, Melissa, color? There was something about
Colorama kitchen cabinets. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Was that? It must have been when they were yellow and lime green, right?
Maybe. I think
They had an
so.
avocado
54.
kitchen and bathrooms.
I think so. We were looking at some of the builders.
Oh, they were pink. In the 50s, they were pink. Mm-hmm. And maybe yellow.
I remember seeing some green ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A different shade. Like they evolve, I think, over time with the trends.
And so has the parade. I mean, it's really come such a long way. That was a big deal when the parade started to have the booklet. Now we've got the booklet, commercials, billboards,
Website.
website.
So, Parade of Homes, this is going to be a long conversation. We're going to take a real quick break. Got Chris Dunn back there on the soundboard. So, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a minute. And stick around. Don't leave. Don't change the style because excellent information. Back in a minute.
You're buying a house. Congratulations. So while you're worrying about the paperwork, leave the moving part to us. We're Woody & Sons Moving Company, a Florida licensed and insured mover, and we offer same-day written estimates. Plus, no sneaky mileage, stairs, or additional stop fees. All we ask is that you check out our great ratings on Google and Angie's List, then go to woodyandsons.com to learn more. Whether you need a full-service pack and move or some extra hands, at Woody & Sons Moving Company, we move you.
Curious what your Tampa home is worth? Here's an easy way to find out what homes like yours are selling for in today's market. Text the word value to 813-377-2775 for a free report on Tampa house prices. We'll send you a free report with up-to-the-minute statistics based on all homes for sale sold in your neighborhood over the last 6 months in all price ranges. To get your free report on Tampa Bay house prices, just call or text the word value to 813-377-2775.
Aaron Davis here, owner of Hillsborough Title, serving all of Tampa Bay. Our service, strength, and knowledge make us different. From Polk County to the Gulf, Pasco to Manatee, Tampa Bay, we've got you covered. Visit us on the web at thebesttitle.com. That's thebesttitle.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. In studio today, we have Laura Kennedy and Melissa Chalmont. Got it right this time, with Tampa Bay Builders Association. And we're talking all about the Parade of Homes. That's where we left off before the break. And I was really just in awe of this publication from 1957 that you brought in that looks like they called it a plan book back then, huh?
Yep, that was the early version of the Parade Guidebook.
So now we call it the guidebook. And before I forget, let's talk about and I'm looking at the jealousy windows too in this thing. It's amazing, just the evolution of time. But so the Tampa Bay Builders Parade of Homes guidebook, even though it's in the spring, they're still around, right? People can still pick this up.
The guidebook information has the addresses, it has the floor plans all available on the Tampa Bay Parade of Homes website. That's actually the website, tampabayparadeofhomes.com. And you can search on there by square footage, price point, location, builder. You can search by a variety of different measures. And the site is mobile friendly. So if you're driving around taking a look at homes and you're searching by price point, you can pull that up on your phone and look around.
Which most people in this day and age would be. Like
Right.
It's a proven stat that the search, people start more searches on their phone than anywhere else nowadays. So you can find these at Famous Tate locations. Is there anywhere else someone could pick this up?
Well, they could certainly contact us at the association. We've mailed out a number of copies to people who are moving to the area, to realtors, and just local residents who want to get their hands on a copy.
Where's your offices at?
Our office, the TBBA office, we have one office in downtown at the corner of Kennedy and Morgan.
Okay. So, and they could pick one up there too, or usually just kind of mail it out, I would imagine.
Yeah, we have people who will stop by and pick up a copy, or we can mail it out.
Okay. So back to my original question, Laura. We were talking about if you were to talk about the Parade of Homes and you were explaining to someone, what is the Parade of Homes? I love what your son said. That is fabulous. That it should be a parade of people, not a parade of homes, because the homes are moving. That is amazing. I love it. Anyway, for explaining the Parade of Homes to someone that's never encountered it, never experienced it, what can they expect?
I would say that the Parade of Homes is a showcase of what our builders have to offer in the area. And it can show you a wide variety of price points, starting in I think this year it started in the mid 100s. The previous year, we actually had something that I think was right around 100, maybe 99,000, somewhere around that, all the way up to $1 million plus.
Just goes to say, when everybody's selling, that's when you should buy.
Exactly. So we've got, a really wide range of price points, as well as a wide range of where you want to live. We had attached housing this year, really nice townhomes from the mid 150s up to, I think some of the townhomes were probably close to 400, somewhere around that. Homes that were in some of the, very nice planned unit developments that the builders are in, as well as some that were in, smaller communities, and really anywhere from Wesley Chapel. Didn't we have some even up as far away as Spring Hill this year, I think?
So greater Tampa metro area. Probably not much in Pinellas, but perhaps some in Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough.
We had more this year.
Pinellas,
Yeah. This last year there were a couple. This year there are a few more. It's growing. There's some renovation going on, and some builders who are making use of their land right now.
Yeah, there's some smaller areas where they're, maybe building 25, 30 homes. They're not, hundreds of homes in a community, but
14, it looks like. All of 14 in Pinellas. Just because, on Saturday we're going to have a home with the mayor of Clearwater talking about their 100-year anniversary of Clearwater. And so we were one of the things we were discussing was the lack of land for building. So it's nice to actually physically look at this directory and count some builders that are there. And like you said, it's smaller patches. They build what they can, but I love it. I think it's phenomenal. So how many builders participated in this last year?
35? Is that about right?
Yep, we had 35 builders.
And we had almost 150 entries.
Wow. So so you don't select everybody. How does it work for the builders that want to get in?
The builders are members of the association. A lot of the builders in the area are members of TBBA, and if they want to enter a home, they selectively take a look at their their inventory or the models that they have, and will enter a home.
And so, how do you choose the ones that will actually be in there? Because you said you had over 150 applicants, and you chose 35.
Well, no, actually, the way it works is they choose to enter, so we don't necessarily have a limit of how many builders can enter. We do have criteria they have to meet as far as the home has to be complete.
Right.
And they're choosing.
You don't want somebody walking through a construction zone, obviously. It's not what the Parade of Homes is about.
Not a good safety issue. And they can choose whether or not they want to be judged. So choosing Parade of Homes winners versus being in the Parade of Homes is two different things. And so, any of our active members that want to participate in the Parade of Homes are certainly encouraged to do so.
So how many weekends is it? Because it's several weekends, right? And isn't it?
It's a little more than 2 weeks. It's 3 weekends.
Okay.
So we start on a Saturday and we end on a Sunday.
And is it during the week too, or just on the weekends?
During the week too.
Oh, during the week too. Okay. So every day you're featuring a different builder, or do you have more than one?
All the models are required to be open during the Parade of Homes. So if they enter, they're given a nice little set of rules, and they need to be open between certain hours during the entire Parade of Homes. So they have to have the home staffed. Many of the homes outside of the Parade of Homes are available to look at perhaps during different hours. But to make it easy for the public, we conduct the marketing of the Parade of Homes. All the homes are open during the same hours.
What are the hours? Out of curiosity, do you know?
The hours are
10 to 6.
10 to 6, yeah.
Okay.
And then on Sunday, I believe it's noon to 6.
It would be neat if they could stay open like for an hour longer. Maybe next year they'll do that, because especially if they're during the week, you might catch a lot of people in that last hour if they were open for one additional hour.
Well, and a lot of the builders are open an additional hour, but
It's just
not
not
everyone
advertised.
is. Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
And the neat thing too is it's not just new home builders. You also have remodelers that take part in the Parade of Homes, right?
We do, yeah. We have, in the association, we have a couple of councils. We have our Remodelers Council and our Sales Marketing Council. And there's an opportunity for remodelers, remodeling members of the council to enter a home.
Now, what kind of stuff are they showcasing? Kitchens, bathrooms, I would imagine?
All of the above: the kitchens, bathrooms, entire house remodels,
Additions,
outdoor living areas.
Any historic?
We haven't had any historic ones entered in the parade, but we do have remodelers who are involved in many historic renovations.
Gotcha.
Very impressive ones, actually.
That would be neat to see that, because you see areas like Seminole Heights and stuff that are just continue to grow and evolve and change, and they have, pretty restrictive building codes and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see something like that, be part of the Parade of Homes. So how does it work when it's someone and they've done a remodel? Because this is someone's home, right?
Right.
And we're including it in the Parade of Homes. So I want to talk about that. This is fun stuff.
No, that's
a good question.
It is a good question. It's something we've worked with over time. There's the remodelers are entered in the guidebook, and we put the contact information of the remodeler, so they'll go see. People can see the home by appointment if they contact the remodeler. As you said, the remodeling home is somebody's house, so we can't just have the public coming and knocking on their door.
So
for 3 weeks.
Is it pretty much
2 weeks.
just kitchens and bathrooms? Do you have additions, or have you seen anything funky where you have remodel builders?
We've seen they've done additions. They've converted spaces into wine rooms. They have gutted houses and reformatted them into different living spaces, different living areas.
That's nice. It makes sense that someone would do that. And it's so total of 3 weeks. How many days is the Parade of Homes?
It's actually 2 weeks. Sorry, and
2 weeks.
3 weekends. Yes.
2 weeks and 3 weekends. Okay. So how many days is that? Do we have to count?
That would be 16.
Yes.
Okay. And it's one per day. Did you answer that already or no?
Well,
More than one.
All the homes are open the entire time, so there's not necessarily a release schedule of the houses. They all have open hours during the entire 2 weeks.
And they get just featured on different days, right?
They're all kind of featured together. I would say the feature, if we featured anything, would be our showcase home, which acts as our primary sponsor of the Parade of Homes, one of our main sponsors.
Gotcha.
So the showcase home is our cover image. It is our billboard image. It is our commercial.
It's like your poster child
exactly.
for the Parade of Homes.
It's the big dream home.
You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. We have to take a real quick break. We'll be back in a minute. When we come back, we'll continue on our conversation on the Parade of Homes. If you missed any part of our show or you want to catch up with our ladies from Tampa Bay Builder Association, just hop on over to TampaHometalk.com under radio, and we'll get you connected. Back in a minute.
You've heard this before. Interest rates are at all-time record lows. But if your interest rate is 4% or above, you owe it to yourself to call Silverton Mortgage Specialist. Silverton is a direct lender, and the best part about this is that the entire loan process is handled in-house. From application to close, we do it all in the same building, which means that our loans close fast and our clients know what's going on every step of the way. Our contact info is located on TampaHometalk.com under Radio Show. What makes Silverton different? Products. We offer VA, FHA, USDA, and conventional loans pricing. Best rates with the lowest closing costs. Process everything in-house. It's handled right here and not outsourced to anyone that no one can reach. This way we can avoid surprises. Our people are simply the best, and we know you'll agree. What will closing Silverton Mortgage Specialist mean to you? A smooth process, real home loan value, and personal attention from real professionals. Silverton Mortgage Specialists are here to serve you. Visit TampaHometalk.com under Radio Show for all of our contact details. NMLS 109-600 is an equal housing lender and Florida and Georgia residential mortgage licensee.
Ask me about an inside secret to save several hundreds of dollars on your annual homeowner's insurance premium. Text the word WIND, W-I-N-D, to 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775.
You're buying a house. Congratulations. So while you're worrying about the paperwork, leave the moving part to us. We're Woody & Sons Moving Company, a Florida licensed and insured mover, and we offer same-day written estimates. Plus, no sneaky mileage, stairs, or additional stop fees. All we ask is that you check out our great ratings on Google and Angie's List, then go to woodyandsons.com to learn more. Whether you need a full-service pack and move or some extra hands, at Woody & Sons Moving Company, we move you.
Hey, Katrina Madewell here. Just wanted to make sure you know how to reach us on our off-air number. If you'd like to connect with myself or any of our guests, you can call us at 813-377-2775. Again, this is Katrina Madewell, host of Tampa Home Talk, and to connect with myself or any guests we have on air, just call or text at 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. Welcome back. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. And if you're just catching us right now or you missed the first part of our show, catch it in its entirety. It will be over at tampahometalk.com under radio or any podcast player. Just search for Tampa Home Talk and you'll be able to catch up with myself and the girls over at TBBA, which is Tampa Bay Builders Association, Melissa Chamont and Laura Kennedy. Both took a big part in the Parade of Homes, which is what we were discussing before we had to take a quick break. So, excellent analogy that you gave during the break, which I think kind of sums it up. You said, look at it more like an open house over 2 weeks.
Right. It's a very extended open house where the general public can come in and see the builders who are, showcasing their home for the general public so that they can, it's amazing what you can get for the price that you pay these days for new construction. And that's really a lot of what the parade is about as well, is educating buyers on what's available now. Because with new construction, it's so much more these days than just having new countertops and new cabinets. It's about the energy efficiencies that are built into new construction, the green building. So there's a lot.
I personally saw a lot of Lennar, and there's a huge difference between the homes they're building now and the homes they built even 5 years ago. Absolutely. I mean, the energy efficiency is crazy. I've sold homes that are 4,000 square foot, and my customers tell me their power bills are under $100 a month. They're that energy efficient.
They are, and Lennar's a great builder.
So they are. I definitely have to second that. But outside of that, it's, you touched on something big. Don't forget about all the components are going to be brand new. When you talk about the value of a home and getting something new, usually it's pretty much right in the market value, a little bit higher. You can get something absolutely brand new. And these aren't all neighborhood builders, right? It's not all necessarily deed restricted type builders.
Correct. There are some that are in communities, especially when you get out towards Brandon. There's some little, I don't know if this is the right word, but kind of like pocket communities that, have 20, 25 homes that they're building in there. And so it's that type of buyer who doesn't really want the big amenity center and all the rules that go with it.
Mm-hmm. We've sold some amazing homes in communities like that, and even resold homes. They hold their value. These little neighborhoods that have just a street or two of homes, and they make use of the space. They build something new. You don't necessarily have the CDDs and all the other fees that are built into a lot of the master plan communities. And CDDs, for the person listening, in case you've never heard that term or you're not sure what it stands for Community Development District. And so we get that question all the time. I answer that question probably several times a month. So I just want to clarify for the person listening, CDD, a lot of times, when a builder and developer comes into a neighborhood, sometimes even with the amount of growth that they bring with the neighborhood, they may have to build schools, they have to put the infrastructure, the roads. There's a lot of support that's required on a city or county level to make that neighborhood go. So what happens is the homeowner actually shares in on the cost over a period of years in what's known as a CDD. So it's built into your tax bill. It's not in addition to, it's just included in the tax. And so some of them have just the debt portion, which is done after 20 or 30 30 years. Some have debt and maintenance portion where, you know, it's repaid off. And in some neighborhoods, especially when the market went up and came down, I noticed the ones that were in the CDD communities that have like Dupree Lakes, for example, they have $75 a month HOAs. And then most of their fees to operate their master plan community are through their CDD. And the great part about that is the taxes always get paid. So even if you have delinquent homeowners that are not paying their taxes, the taxes will get paid. Somebody will pick it up, you know, for interest or repurchase possibility or whatever. Taxes always get paid because they have to, right?
That's a great
cities
point.
and counties, establishments couldn't function. But and so not all of them have that is my point. But if you're wondering what that was, I wanted to explain it. So the other thing too, let's talk about the numbers, because I think that's where even I got confused, and I'm a real estate agent. So I love that I'm bringing this up, because if I am not 100% sure on it, I'm sure the person listening might not be either. But I noticed that when the parade of homes that, you know, they'll have numbers on them. So what do the numbers mean in the parade of homes?
Well, the numbers are, it's as simple as this. It's to help you figure out where they are on the map.
Okay.
And then we
So
also...
is it a route map, I guess?
Well, there's the map online, and there's the map in the book. And then it's also, I mean, it's the way that we number them to identify them throughout the parade. So some of it is for us in terms of one portion that with the parade of homes, it's open to the general public, of course, but then we also have a judging portion of the parade of homes. And that's where the numbers really come into play, because each judge has a certain portion of homes and it's grouped by price band. And so their homes, that's how we keep track of how they're being judged, is each has their number. I mean, it's that simple.
So it's kind of a unique identifier. I'll add that really quick. We do have a variety of naming styles of the houses, and sometimes they cross over. So we may have a couple models that have similar or same names. So if we have somebody from the public or a real estate agent or somebody come to us and say, I'd like to know more information about this house, and we may have a couple of houses with that same name. So it helps us communicate with the public and the realtors.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So who are the judges? Like what kind of people, when I say who, I don't mean like specifically it's Sarah Jones. Like who are the judges? Like who are the people that you pick to judge these homes in certain price points?
For the most part, they're industry professionals from outside of the Tampa Bay market. And so this year, for instance, we had some interior designers and builders out of the Jacksonville market. One of the judges who participates with us from time to time writes a home magazine out of the Daytona market. You know, he's involved in marketing, so he's very familiar with new home construction.
That's a good person to have as a judge.
Yeah, and so sometimes we have real estate agents from out of the market who primarily sell new construction, so they know what features are important to the general public, as opposed to maybe a builder who knows what's important to a builder.
Right.
So it's nice because you get a wide variety of viewpoints, and generally, when we have a group, let's just say the $150,000 to $175,000 price range, as a for instance, the group of judges who might be judging that price band, it's not necessarily going to be. It's usually a group of 3 or 4 judges. And they're going to have different professions. So we're not going to have 3 designers judging that price range. We might have 1 builder, 1 designer, 1 marketing person. So we try to mix it up, and that way you get a well-rounded point of view. And then each of the homes is judged on quite a few.
That's what I was going to ask you, is how many
features.
judges there were and what they judged them on.
Mm-hmm. They judge, I would say you want to...
They have a variety of categories that they judge them on, as far as different areas of the house. And those even get broken down into smaller pieces. So
like design flow, functionality, that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm, yeah, master suite, kitchen area. So there's always part of the evolution of the parade too, is taking a look at that and saying, are there other areas we want to add? Do we need to take a look at how the market is evolving and what else we may need to judge on?
That's probably good feedback for the builders too. Do they get that information?
They do get some of that information, and we have at the parade awards banquet that we have, the builders attend and they find out who won for the different price bands and for the different categories.
Is there 3 judges or more?
It's usually about 3. I would say 3 to 5 judges per price band, and there's a number of price bands.
And do they essentially rate each area for different things, and then they tally them all up, and there's a grand winner? Is that how it works?
That's exactly how it works.
For different price bands.
Mm-hmm.
For different price bands. So, Yeah, for instance, like on the functionality that Melissa was talking about, in the kitchen, they might be saying, okay, how well does the triangle work? Or you look at the quality of the finishing. And in one category that's been added recently because it's more important to buyers is outdoor living space. All the builders have come up with some really unique outdoor living ideas. So that's now a category that gets looked at.
Well, let's face it, some of these neighborhoods are on postage size lots, and it's a lot easier, I would imagine, for a builder to resell a postage style lot when you walk outside. If you feel like, if you can make that experience different and make that feeling different when you walk outside versus, oh yeah, this is a small lot. Like if they're looking at paved areas with a fire pit and lounging areas, they're going to be focusing on those things.
They're making good use of space.
Exactly. And that's where I think a lot of the home building evolution has gone, making good use of space. It's funny, I'm looking at your list here and the winners, and you're right on top. We have Lennar Homes, the Normandy. And I'm thinking of that because I literally have a Normandy coming up for resale next week.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that awesome? So can I have this?
Yes, yeah. You can have
I'm going to
that.
be using this I'm going to showcase you guys and just show how it was a winner in this year's Parade of Homes, that model home. And it is an excellent floor plan. It's very nicely laid out the way it is, and it's functional probably for many different type of families.
For the models that are entered into the Parade of Homes and judged, each home is given a Best Feature ribbon. So not necessarily that the feature is unique to that to across the board, but it's the best feature of that house. So the judges will take a look and say, of this house, the best feature may be the organization in the office or the island in the kitchen.
Or the flex space.
Give me an example of some flex spaces.
There might be a room sort of off the, it's any space that can be used for, might be a home office, might be a play area for the kids, might be something that can be converted into sort of I don't want to say media room.
Den, playroom, home theater.
Exactly. So it's something that can, it's whatever is important to you as the buyer.
Right.
That extra square footage, what is that fun space going to be for you?
I love it that a lot of these builders have started to integrate the flex space into their plans because, the way I live in a home, myself and my family, and the way Jody lives in a home, herself and her family, and Melissa and Laura is going to be a little bit different than maybe even the person listening. So it's neat that they build this design with a little bit of versatility that it could be whatever you want it to be. So how are we doing on time, Chris? Got a minute? Okay. I was going to ask you something and it escaped me. The dates, don't have them lined up next year yet, but we know it's going to be in spring,
yes.
right?
Yeah, it's usually in March or April, and it'll always be the 2-week time frame.
The other thing, too, that I was going to say is it's not, and I want to just stress the importance of the Parade of Homes is open to the public. So when it comes around next spring, make sure you pop through because the builders do it for you.
That's actually a very excellent point. The Parade of Homes, we love our Parade of Homes in Tampa. It is not unique to Tampa in that there are many other cities that have a Parade of Homes. And just as our cities are unique, so are the parades. So some people have admission for the Parade of Homes.
That's interesting. So some markets actually charge admission.
We're very fortunate. We have a very supportive building industry. We have some great sponsors, and the funds from the builders who participate, as well as the sponsors, allow us to make this free to the public. So it's great for information for the community, as well as exposure for those who are involved.
And some people are coming through just to get ideas. They're coming through just to see what the current trends are. And I know we discussed earlier before you guys even got here, sometimes people are just curious and they're just looking through to see what a new home looks like and how much it goes for. And sometimes that actually prompts the whole conversation to, hey, I'm going to buy a new one. So you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. We have Tampa Bay Builder Association in studio today. We have to take a quick break, but we'll be back in just a minute. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the price ranges that you can expect to find in the Parade of Homes. And we'll talk a little bit more about who some of the people are that go through it. We'll be back in a minute.
Curious what your Tampa home is worth? Here's an easy way to find out what homes like yours are selling for in today's market. Text the word value to 813-377-2775 for a free report on Tampa house prices. We'll send you a free report with up-to-the-minute statistics based on all homes for sale sold in your neighborhood over the last 6 months in all price ranges. To get your free report on Tampa Bay house prices, just call or text the word value to 813-377-2775.
You've heard this before. Interest rates are at all-time record lows. But if your interest rate is 4% or above, you owe it to yourself to call Silverton Mortgage Specialist. Silverton is a direct lender, and the best part about this is that the entire loan process is handled in-house. From application to close, we do it all in the same building, which means that our loans close fast and our clients know what's going on every step of the way. Our contact info is located on TampaHometalk.com under Radio Show. What makes Silverton different? Products. We offer VA, FHA, USDA, and conventional loans pricing. Best rates with the lowest closing cost. Process everything in-house. It's handled right here and not outsourced to anyone that no one can reach. This way we can avoid surprises. Our people are simply the best, and we know you'll agree. What will closing Silverton Mortgage Specialist mean to you? A smooth process, real home loan value, and personal attention from real professionals. Silverton Mortgage Specialists are here to serve you. Visit TampaHometalk.com under Radio Show for all of our contact details. NMLS 109600 is an equal housing lender and Florida and Georgia residential mortgage licensee.
Aaron Davis here, owner of Hillsborough Title, serving all of Tampa Bay. Our service, strength, and knowledge make us different. From Polk County to the Gulf, Pasco to Manatee, Tampa Bay, we've got you covered. Visit us on the web at thebesttitle.com. That's thebesttitle.com.
Welcome back, and you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. If you're just catching us for the first time today, we're here every week, same time, same station, so make sure you come back next week. And if you miss any part of our show, we are available at TampaHometalk.com under radio. All of our shows are available for your re-enjoyment at a later date. And we're also available via podcast, whether it's iTunes or any podcast player. You can catch us up there. And today in studio, we've been talking all about the Parade of Homes is a lot of the topic for the conversation, but also with Tampa Bay Builders Association. Delighted to have Laura and Melissa here in studio with me today. And we also discussed some of the frequently asked questions, and we didn't have a chance to really get into all that. But some of the ones that you guys get a lot of times is what are the price ranges, right? People say, well, what are the prices they can be? Mm-hmm. I'll let you girls answer that, even though I already know the answer.
Yeah, a lot of times they presume that the Parade of Homes is just more of your showcase high-end home, and it's not. It's the opportunity for our builders to truly put on parade all of their price ranges. And we have a lot of builders who build anywhere from the mid 100s up to the 500 plus price point. So it enables them to reach out to buyers of all price points.
And you had stuff in the Parade of Homes that was even as high as 1.9, right? Mm-hmm. Or somewhere in that range?
1.6, yes.
Oh, 1.6, okay.
Yep.
And you mentioned Standard Pacific also during the break.
Yes, they were our showcase home. They had a beautiful home. It was a $1 million home that was it's in Estancia.
Okay.
In Pasco County.
That neighborhood's really booming. I had a buyer ask me about that neighborhood recently.
It's a beautiful neighborhood. They have 2 model rows, and they have the Barrington in their front model row. And if you continue to the back of the neighborhood, or I guess mid-neighborhood, there's another model row back there as well.
What are they building this one for? Do you know? Do you need to look it up?
I would need to look it up. I know the model was just over $1 million. But it's a beautiful,
I mean, just to describe this, because I'm looking at it for the person listening, it's a beautiful 3-car garage. The garage has like some really cool decorative features. It's got some beautiful arches that are highlighted in different trim, a tile roof, little balcony in the front, probably in the back as well, I would imagine. And it's beautiful. I mean, they build a wonderful home. They really do.
They do. They've, in Estancia and some of the other neighborhoods that they're working in, and I don't want to speak too much on behalf of them, but they have really introduced some neat home products in the last couple of years.
Did you have any of those homes have any of the smart features or the smart home designs? Did you see much of that this year?
There are, and actually, the Barrington has some, and there's a home that I absolutely love, the Bristol in Cordoba. That when I I myself, being involved in the Parade of Homes, I like to tour a lot of the homes on parade. And the Bristol in Cordoba has a lot of technology features. When I took my daughter through there, she's 6 years old.
Pray in heaven.
She was in heaven, and she told me, "Mom, I want this house. It's automatical." You walk in the bathroom, and the shades go down. There's TVs in the mirrors when you're getting ready in the morning.
Does it by itself?
Amazing. It was amazing.
And that neighborhood's really cool too. I know it was like, I forget who the developer was, but somebody had that. It went belly up in the bust of the market. And then I think Standard Pacific repurchased whatever was left, right, at auction or whatever, and now they're rebuilding in there. It was supposed to be originally an equestrian community, but they've modified it a little bit to be more of like an estate community, right?
For somebody looking for a large lot, that is definitely a place to consider.
That's right, because the lots are...
I believe they're 1 acre minimum.
That's what I was thinking too, so that must be right. I know it's an acre or something close to that. They're big, and the homes are pretty good size. I think the smallest one in there is around 3,000 square feet.
I'm
I'm
not
trying
sure,
to remember.
but yeah.
You can certainly look that up for anyone that wanted to know. You can reach out to us on our off-air number, 813-777-1196. You can call or text at 813-777-1196. And then to talk about some of the things that you guys do also, because I want to make sure we don't leave anything out. It's pretty cool. I'm going to try to make sure I catch like every day of it next year. And I don't leave a day out.
Oh, we'll just put her on the committee.
I think so.
Just going to add me.
And then we can just do some like on-site recordings and visit the houses.
Hey,
tour.
we can. We have the remote equipment, and we have done them. As a matter of fact, Chris is still giving me flack back there when I did the remote at Cigar City Brewing. He's like, I need to go to that one.
I was going to say, that's a fun one.
I think he would only be more mad unless I did it like at the Rays or something. Then he would definitely have my head on a stick.
I go there enough. That doesn't.
Oh, that's no big deal. The Cigar City Brewing.
You did. I will say she did bring me back a 6-pack.
Yes,
So,
Nice.
of your favorite.
of my favorite. Yeah.
So you
work.
can't totally
Good
forget
work.
you. Anyway, but yes, we have all the remote equipment. I would love to do that sometimes. As a matter of fact, I know we were talking about next year having you guys on when the Parade of Home starts again in spring 2016. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe the first day.
That would be
Does it start on what day did it start on?
It starts on a Saturday, technically, but we usually have a launch party, and we invite the committee, and it's usually at the showcase in the neighborhood of the showcase or at the showcase home.
Which is on Saturday too?
That's usually the Friday before, but
Okay.
it varies
Thursday or
depending
Friday,
on
right.
Thursday or Friday before.
Well, we do a live show Thursday, and we could certainly do a live show Saturday. So either way, I think it would be fun, and we could highlight you guys and highlight your builder. And it'd be fun to get the builder's perspective on some stuff and let them talk it up because, you know, you
they
have
would
the
love
builder
it.
talking about their place. They're going to leave, you know, they're going to put a lot more features and things in there that we didn't have time to do.
Right.
So I've had so much fun with you girls today. I'm still so intrigued by this 1957 plan book. I had no idea that Parade of Homes was around this long. Shame on me for being a realtor that sells as much as I do, not knowing that, but now I do. Right?
It's a fun event. It's a fun event. A lot of history behind it.
I learn something every show I do anyway, so I love it. You guys were saying too that you also judge other parades of homes. You're judges, right, for other areas.
Right. That's one great thing about the Home Builders Association, both statewide as well as nationally, because, you know, we've talked about the Tampa Bay Builders Association. Well, there's also the Florida Home Builders Association and NAHB, which is the National Association of Home Builders. And so we're all there to support each other. So, for instance, when the Sarasota Home Builders Association needs some out-of-the-area judges, they call on us, and then we do the same. But what's really great about it is we do things differently. So you pick up great ideas when you go out of the area. And then when you really go out of the area, like to Atlanta, you get to see different types of architecture and different features, and it makes it a lot of fun.
And their market's so different there, you know, in that area. It's just totally different. I was going to ask you, too, if you've seen any of these, like in the Parade of Homes last year, if you had any homes that were built, kind of like Lennar was building the next-gen home. I'm picking on Lennar just because I've sold a lot of their stuff and I'm familiar with it, which is a good thing, right, that I'm picking on Lennar. They'll probably love that. But did you have any that featured like the in-law suite type space? Because I know we talked about flex space, but did you have any with the actual in-law suite or in-law quarters?
There are homes with in-law quarters. It's usually, as you said, a flex space, so it could be optional, an in-law quarters, or they could turn it into something else, perhaps a game room or a kids area.
I think actually down at Mira Bay, Homes by West Bay has a model where there is literally a separate building in the back. You cross the area near the swimming pool, and you literally go into a separated building, which has everything to be its own separate in-law space, teenager space, whatever you want to call it.
I know that Lennar stopped building those in Pasco because they were giving them an issue with the impact fees and wanted to charge them double impact fees, saying it was essentially 2 units. But I don't know why they couldn't. Do you know, like, if someone were to build a duplex, would they still have double impact fees? Do you know that offhand? It might not even be a question you could answer.
Right, I couldn't answer that off.
I was just curious. I'd love to see more people, more builders next year or in the coming years ahead feature some of the multi-generational housing.
That is definitely something that's coming around more often, and we're hearing more requests for
because
that.
I think people don't even realize they're there, because I can tell you the families that I've shown that to, or even told them about, and then they can't get it anymore. Then they're like, "Man, I want it." But if you've seen these, like especially even the next gen one that Lennar built, like just to give you an example, they had this one. It was a 3-car garage, but when you walk up to the entryway, there was like a door to the left, and then that was the whole like in-law quarters. And I forget how many square feet it was, but I want to say roughly 1,000. And it had an actual living room, dining room, laundry room, kitchen, its own bathroom, and its own master bedroom.
I've seen something similar in Arthur Rutenberg homes as well, in Lutz. So
yes,
it's definitely something that's up and coming, or I guess I should say is here actually.
I don't think enough builders showcase it because they're not really sure how to sell it. But I can tell you the more realtors you told about that product, the more of them you would sell. Because I can't tell you the times or the families that would be good for. I mean, you think about older families, and like even in my family, like we would never put our parents or grandparents in assisted living. So something like that's a great match for somebody like us. You know, you have college kids that are still at home, you know, some of them in their 30s. So that's a good place for them as well, because they're not physically in the home. Mom and dad have their own space. Yeah,
exactly.
And everybody has their own space. When you just think about it from that perspective, there's so many ways that space could work for many families. And we you know, being an endorsed local provider for Dave Ramsey's group, I've had people literally ask me about that because it can also supplement their mortgage payment. I don't know that the lenders would want to hear that, but it's certainly
as long as they pay the mortgage on time, that's all that matters.
Exactly. That's what they worry about. But it's neat. And when you look at that from that perspective, no matter what your purpose is for getting it originally, and I imagine for a lot of people, you know, the baby boomers was a huge segment of the population. They're getting older. Who knows what's going to happen with Social Security? So I think we may see more and more of that. And so I think as the boomers retire and age and whatnot, it's probably a good idea for builders to incorporate that into their spaces and their homes.
As you mentioned, the codes a lot of times have somewhat to do with that, but I think as the demands with the baby boomers, you know, choosing different housing and more people requiring or requesting that, they're trying to figure out the accommodations for it.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of figuring out how to do it. And I think they said something about the fact that it had different kitchen and laundry room. I think that was a big deal. But I'm sure they could probably redesign the floor plan somehow to make that a middle part of the house with some doors that close off or something. I don't know. I'm just being creative. The architects and
Sounds
engineers
like you should go to work for one of the builders.
They probably want to shoot me. Like the architects and engineers, like, yeah, she's a realtor doing some stuff. But that's how it works, right? I mean, that's what people have ideas that turn them into reality, and that's what sells.
Yeah.
And we were just talking earlier about like 10 years ago, when you think about the iPhone, we never imagined something like that, like a phone that you're touching and flipping and just all the stuff we do on our phones these days. I mean, heck, my lockbox key is on my phone.
Right.
Well, Melissa, Laura, you guys have been amazing to have on the show. I really appreciated your time to come in and tell us all about Tampa Bay Builder Association and the Parade of Homes. And I'm going to take you guys up on that. And next year we're going to do a live show and kick it off.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
So you have to let us know when you get the dates. You should have in another month or two, right, for next spring.
It's a big endeavor. So we start pretty early, which almost as
almost
one ends, you start another one. So
that's how it goes. I mean, any big event like that takes a lot of time, a lot of planning, a lot of people, and it's not something that happens in a week or two or even a month.
Right.
No, it's almost a year-long planning event. You literally finish one, have a wrap-up meeting, talk about what to do differently for the following year, and then you start to launch into that one.
And you guys redo your committee, I imagine, every year, right?
We have, and we have some people who are who have contributed over the years and have a strong hold on it, and then we always have new members coming in. And
awesome. Well, ladies, thank you so much. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. If it's your first time catching our show, you can catch us here same time, same place, same station every week. And if you miss any part of our show and you want to catch it in its entirety, just hop on over to TampaHometalk.com. If you want to catch up with Melissa or Laura, ask them some questions, or be involved with Tampa Bay Builders Association, you can also find their show card over there at TampaHometalk.com under radio. And the whole show is available via podcast. Thank you so so much for listening this week. We're so happy to have you. Welcome back next week. And for this week, we're out.
There's no reason to